Hi, I'm Tammy Beilstein. Welcome to Tammy's Window on Calaveras. I'm here tonight with Graham Greene and KaKayton. They are from Murphy's Creek Theater. They have quite a lot going on. I hardly know where to begin. No matter where we start, it's going to be great. These two people are so talented, and they work with some of the most talented people in our community. So, where should we start? Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about Murphy's Creek Theater and what each of your positions are at the theater?
Okay, I'll start. I'm Graham, obviously. I'm the artistic director of the theater company, and I started Murphy's Creek Theater in 1994, 20 years ago. So this is our 20th season.
Yeah, it's like when I was born.
Yeah, exactly. I started it when I was 4. And I feel really, really lucky to be able to do theater in such an amazingly beautiful place and in such a great community.
Yes. Now, can I ask you a really silly question? What exactly does an artistic director do?
Well, I'm responsible for picking seasons and artists to be a part of the season and the overall feel of the seasons and what the theater company wants to say artistically.
Okay.
This season, actually, the 20th season, is a bit of a change because we're looking back on some of the shows that we've done over the past 20 years. Some of our favorite shows. For example, the first show that we did this season we just closed, which was Rumors by Neil Simon, which was the very first play that we did as a theater company back in 1994.
Neat.
And that was a lot of fun.
Did you try to do it exactly the same way, or was it very different from your first time?
Well, we had 3 cast members who were from the original production, and unfortunately, one of the cast members has passed away since then. So we couldn't have the whole cast. Mm-hmm. And it's 20 years later. So if we're using the same cast members, we had to change a few things because they're 20 years older.
Right.
It's a different world 20 years on.
Yeah.
There were no cell phones then.
Oh,
you know?
right.
I mean, so it was a different world. So it was interesting, and I had forgotten how funny the play was.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to revisit it in that respect. So it was different. I mean, every time you do a play, even if you do the same play with the same people 2 seasons in a row, it's never going to be the same. I mean, theater is by definition lightning in a bottle. You know, so.
You must be really good at just going with the flow. I am such a control freak in a lot of ways. I think I would just be a nervous wreck each night, you know. I just want to film it. That's it. So that's the way it's going to stay.
Well, I kind of thrive on that.
Do you?
Yeah, it's always different, and that's what makes it exciting for me.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's why you're the guy for the job.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And then what is your position there?
Yeah, so I grew up in Calaveras County, and I started with Murphy's Creek Theater at the age of 16 in the production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Since then, I went off and I went to school, and I lived in New York, and I graduated from the Yale School of Drama in theater management and was freelancing for a while, and Graham and I have collaborated on a couple of projects since then, but I had a conversation with him at the start of this season to come on as the producer of the 20th season to really help bolster the company and start looking towards the future, what the next 20 years look like.
That is awesome. So you're not just visiting here from New York, you're back, like he's gotcha?
He's gotcha.
Good move.
Yeah,
good move.
So I've been helping with some of the branding and marketing, and we've been talking about sponsors and different ways to help support the company. But I'm also directing 3 shows in the season, including our summer production of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night that's coming up.
Now, directing, does that mean you are in charge of who gets which spot in the play, who makes the costumes, all of that?
Right, yeah. So a director's role, actually, the main thing is shepherding the whole piece. So you'd be in charge of casting and all of the actors that get cast in the different roles, whatever the conceptual ideas behind putting the piece on, and hiring designers like costume designers or sound or lighting designers. And it's a collaborative effort. You can't put on a show by yourself.
Right.
But yeah, the director for the play is really the leader in the room, leading the group
what
together.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Whew,
it's fun
pressure.
though.
Yeah.
And she's doing a great job with it.
Oh,
I'm
bet.
actually in the cast of 12th Night.
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
yes.
realize that you acted in the plays also.
Oh,
Graham's
yeah.
a great actor.
Oh, fun is that?
It's really fun. I have a great role in it, and it's really fun to work with Tara because she is a very thorough director.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still act in any of the plays, or now you're just behind the scenes?
I do still act. I've found my calling sort of with directing and producing. I've literally traveled the world with different works and found that this is what I feel like my calling in theater is. I've done lots of different things, but I'm really interested in the entire picture of how to bring art to people, because it's about storytelling, and if we're not doing a good job of storytelling to a big group, and how do you get them there, and how do you support it, and how do you take care of the artists so they also feel they can do their best work.
So many different personalities you guys work with.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. And you keep everything local? Like when it comes time to get the costumes or to have people do your sound or lights, are they all local people?
They aren't all local, no, but particularly for 12th Night, we have a number of artists coming from different areas. 2 of our actors are coming from Sacramento. 1 of our actors is coming from Reno. These are 3 actors we've worked with before. We also have a number of local actors, people like Sheila Doyle and Graham and Ross Aldrich, some sort of like MCT, true blood actors that have been here for a long time.
Oh, that's neat.
And then I have a lot of connections with the East Coast and the Bay Area and some of the designers, and I even have a dramaturg friend who's someone who can help shepherd the research and the historical and sort of tracking of the plot, are coming from the East Coast to come help out. But
wow.
Artists love doing that. They love getting calls and coming
When they're
to work
needed.
on shows when they're needed. Yeah.
Oh, that is so incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I was thinking of something. So some of these actors go from one play to another, but it's not like a troupe, right? Where, I don't even know if troupe is the correct word. It's not like you have a group of actors and you come up with a play and they each take which role is best for them. You guys have auditions.
That's
and
right.
other people from outside, different people can be in your plays.
So you're talking about a repertory company, a company of actors. Many theater companies in America have an acting company that they pull from every year. We're going to do this play, and this actor that we've been working for 10 years will do this role. I think that's something that Murphy's Creek's always been striving to get to, and something we'd like to keep aiming for. We're a small professional community-based theater, so we're not at the level we'd like to be at yet, where we can hire actors that are part of the Actors Union called Actors Equity Association.
Okay,
right. Once we get to that place, which I'm sure we will in the future, we'll be able to hire actors as well as keep some of our local actors, maybe even put them into the union, and then they can solely just be actors and not have to worry about other day jobs and things like that.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? So in the meantime, though, you guys hold auditions for these plays. How far in advance do you hold auditions? Like months and months?
We have season auditions. We had season auditions this year in January, and from that we found a number of our actors.
That would be for a play that would be taking place
for the entire season.
All the way
entire
up through December.
All the way
Okay,
through December.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And then sometimes we'll also have other auditions if we're looking for specific characters. We're doing a special event this year on Halloween. We're going to do the Rocky Horror Show, and it'll be a one-night-only concert. But that takes
I've never seen that,
yeah,
ever.
It's really fun. You'll have to come down.
Well, I went to Catholic school, and Father Gruber came over. Seriously, he came over to the house, and he told my parents that we would not be allowed to see that movie when it came out, and I never got to see it. And now if I did, I'd probably feel like I have to go to confession afterward.
Oh,
but
it's not that easy. But it's
for you guys, I'll probably go.
It's vocally, we need a lot of pretty talented singers for that. We're also looking for a band. So that's when you're looking for really specific character actors or actors who have special talents. Sometimes you'll hold separate auditions as well. So
wow,
it changes every year depending on the needs.
Yeah, yeah. My gosh, you guys, I'm thinking of all the different aspects of what you do. Do you also run the building, the Black Bart Theater, the Playhouse?
Yes, we do. It's it's our responsibility to maintain the building and keep it available for organizations that want to rent it for
Wow.
various things.
Yeah, you guys are blowing me away. You're talented in so many different areas artistically, but you must also be good at business and organization and so many other things. Wow, I'm seriously impressed. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the art of running theater and then the business side of it are hard to manage all, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that
especially with a small team.
even with everything you filled us in on, I bet there is so much more that goes on behind the scenes that none of us would ever have any clue about. It just all seems to fall into place when you go see a play. We did the Calaveras Live over at the theater, like a variety show. It just seemed like everything just happened. It just happened perfectly. I didn't have to do anything. I just enjoyed it. And so it's just so weird if you stop to think about every little thing that goes into that. Making programs, getting the right people to do the right job. It's incredible.
Well, I mean, if you stick around at the end of a movie and you look at how many people there are that work on a film that you don't see on that film,
Right.
it's phenomenal, the
Yeah.
army of people it takes to make art happen.
How many people do you guys have behind the scenes on any given play?
Not enough. We need more.
Yeah, exactly.
Come help the theater.
If someone is interested in doing that, would they go to your website?
Yeah,
Give you guys a
absolutely.
call? What's your website? Do you know? by
Yeah,
heart?
it's murphyscreektheater.org.
Okay.
And also feel free to ever call us at 728-8422, which is our box office line where you can always buy tickets, but that's the best way to reach us. Or on Facebook.
Right.
We're really
Very good.
active on Facebook, so
Perfect.
feel free to reach out to us.
Perfect. So in addition to, what if somebody doesn't have the time to volunteer that way, but they still want to support your program? Do you take monetary donations or donations
Yes.
of clothing?
Of
Yes.
any dollar
Clothing,
amount.
anything.
Anything, clothing, if you have old clothing that you think might be useful to the theater,
Yeah.
or old furniture that you might, I mean, I don't want people's old sofas off their front porch, but, there are certain things
things
that, we could use, we can use a lot of help in a lot of ways.
Perfect.
In-kind donations are always wonderful, but nonprofit arts rely on the support and generosity of donors and sponsors and individual gifts. The arts funding in America has decreased greatly, particularly
Right.
federal. State funding's just now getting back to where it used to be, but those are really competitive, and we're pretty tiny. So if you believe in the arts and you love the arts and you want to support, any monetary gift it goes a long, long way. $25, that could be 2 or 3 props. $500 pays an actor for the summer. $1,000 would go huge in
Oh, that's nice to know.
things that we need for equipment or things like that. Additionally, if you have a house and you want an actor to come stay with you for the summer, we're always looking for housing as well. So those are
That
ways
would
in
be
which
fun.
are really, really helpful ways to help.
Now, of the monetary donations, does that come as that people need to mail you a check, or do you have maybe a PayPal account where you can just click a
If you
button?
go on our website,
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Just
Either way.
Hit donate. There's a donate button and click on donate and you can,
Yeah.
right.
And that is so safe and so easy. I have done that before for other things, and
And it's tax
Absolutely.
deductible.
I like knowing-
and it's tax deductible.
perfect.
Because we're a
Perfect.
nonprofit.
Right.
Now, about how much does it cost to go see one of your plays? Is this an expensive thing or something that a family might be able to afford to do?
Well, an adult ticket is $20, and a senior ticket for 55 or over, or a student is $18, and children are 10.
Okay.
Children 6 to 12 are 10. So it's, for theater, it's an extremely cheap ticket.
Okay.
And it's not really that much more than a movie
Right.
for live theater.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. And is that the price of if the play is happening at the theater or at your new venue, the outdoor
Those
venue?
are those are the same price.
For the same. Okay.
Right.
Now, tell me a little bit about the new space that you have.
Well, we're pretty excited about it. Bryce Station Winery is one of the, it's up on Highway 4, about 4 miles east of Murphy's. So it's at about 3,000 feet, which makes it one of the highest wineries in elevation in the state.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Stu and Dolores Mast are the owners of the winery, and they also have a concert series that they do as well in the summertime.
They do. Is that new? I don't remember hearing about that
This
before.
is their third summer doing
Okay.
the concert series.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And they built this little stage and venue, the Hilltop stage, I think is what
Right.
they call it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's picturesque with sweeping views of pine trees in the mountains and a gorgeous sunset, a light,
Every
beautiful.
night, gorgeous sunset.
Yeah, beautiful
nice is
grassy
that?
knoll.
A smart move on their part to have entertainment out there. Very cool.
Yeah, it was a really opportunistic moment. As many of our patrons will know, we've been performing down at the what used to be called the Stephen O. Winery, down past Mercer Caverns on San Domingo Road. And that amphitheater has been our home for a long time, but this summer there was an opportunity to either stay down there or take the production of Twelfth Night that I'm directing by William Shakespeare and take it up to Bryce Station, and which is a thriving, living winery, and we'll be able to have food available, and people can bring their picnic blankets and everything that we've always usually done before. So.
Are people able to bring their own food to eat there?
Absolutely.
Or do you want them to buy it?
Yeah, people
well,
are,
want them to buy
people
it
are able
but-
to bring their own food, and the Bryce Station will be selling wine for purchase, so we ask people to come and support the winery as well. There will also be some catered meals available for purchase. You'll just have to check our website as we're finessing all of those details out.
That'd be fun. Is this also where the Mirror Project plays will be happening at this the same place?
Yes, at the same place.
Okay.
The idea behind the Mirror Project is that it follows the main stage production, the adult production.
Right.
So whatever we're doing, whatever the adults are doing, I feel it's important that the kids mirror that they're doing the same show.
Yeah.
Because that's how they are learning about Shakespeare. Shakespeare wrote scripts. He didn't write poems. He wrote scripts.
Yeah.
And it's when they get to see these actors in the process of creating these characters out of this script, then they begin to understand Shakespeare much more clearly.
Which is hard to understand. I'm going to tell you guys something. I read some Shakespeare when I was in high school only because I had to.
Right.
And it was so hard for me to understand. I mean, it just went over my head. By the time I figured out what exactly a certain sentence meant, I was lost in the whole flow of everything. Would someone like me be lost if I went to go see a play? Would I feel like I don't know what's happening?
I hear this a lot because I've sort of devoted my life to the work of William Shakespeare. I studied abroad at Oxford University. I studied Shakespeare, and I've been working towards working on most of his canon. And the thing about his work is that the language is dense, there's no doubt, because it's poetry, and it's from a time period where people spoke more eloquently than I believe we do now. And there's plenty of reasons why maybe that is, but I believe that when the actor and the director that are working on the specific language that is being spoken aloud, when they really understand what every word means, and you dig deep into what the poetry of the play is, and hopefully through their acting skills and the way it's directed, the audience should be able to go along for the journey. Okay. Anytime you come as an audience member to a Shakespeare production, there's always this moment when the play starts and the words hit you. And for instance, the start of Twelfth Night is, "If music be the food of love, play on." And as long as there's a way in which to invite the audience in to listen to these words, and you as an actor, the team that's putting the show on is conveying them in a way that the audience can see and feel and understand. There's so much sensory language that sometimes it's also about feeling it. And once the language has been really worked on with the actors. For instance, when we started rehearsal, we start with what's called table work, where the actors sit down and we literally go line by line and put the words, Shakespeare's words, into our own modern day 2014 language,
you do,
and then discuss it as a group, whether or not we think perhaps that's what he meant or didn't mean, and through that really find the dynamic character references and the rhythms within the language. Shakespeare wrote for actors. He wrote for layman audiences, actually, people who were called the groundlings that had no education, zero formal education, and he wrote to them these really epic stories that are universal in plot. And they understood it.
I feel so lost.
Yeah. Well, you should really come to this summer's production of Twelfth Night at Bryce Station, because we are working really hard at making sure we're bringing really nice, wonderful, exciting Shakespeare to a local community, so you can discover the work again if you've if you've had it in the past, rediscover it or discover it for anew.
Yes.
And really come and have fun. The play is about so many things, but
Tell me about the play.
Sure.
That's not one I read.
Yeah,
and if I
okay.
did read it, it would have been the Cliff Notes.
Sure. So Twelfth Night was actually written for one single night in Shakespeare's day. It was it was around Christmas, this sort of festival, and he wrote it for one night, and he brought this sort of summer love story to this winter England for the Queen. But the play is about this shipwreck where there are twins, a brother and sister, that get separated from the shipwreck. And they land in this place, the sister lands in this place called Illyria, which is this sort of mythical island. It doesn't actually exist even in Shakespeare's day. And it's an unknown place, and she has to sort of make her way in this new place, but can't do that just as a woman. So she disguises herself in true Shakespearean fashion. She disguises herself as a man. And finds her way to this duke's house. His name is Duke Orsino, and through the most painful process ends up actually falling in love with him while having to work for him. And there are a bunch of other characters within the play.
Hold on, does he know that she's...
You'll have to come see
the
play.
You already sucked me in.
and there's a lady so that's also part of the town, Olivia, who's mourning the loss of her brother, who has a drunken cousin named Sir Toby, which Graham is playing. And there's other sort of poetic characters, and the play really it's about loss, and it's about love through laughter and through the story of just sort of universal personal experiences and relationships between people, and our relationships with ourselves, with intoxication, with love and food and water and life. And so it should be a really great summer production.
Oh my goodness.
And because we're moving to this new venue, and Bryce Station is this sort of gorgeous plot of land, as we've talked about, but there's also, it has rich history in Calaveras County, and there are a number of items up there, sort of, there's beautiful barns and this sort of incredible chandelier made out of wine bottles and wagons and things of this nature that the play is going to be set in the 1930s Dust Bowl. And the actors are going to sort of roll up in a big old truck and unload these trunks, and there'll be music, and the play will sort of happen in and around the audience.
So it's tweaked a little bit then. It's not exactly the way that it was written, taking place in the time that it was written, but you keep the language the same.
Yep.
Okay, but you just make it a little bit.
So Shakespeare really wrote universal plots, and this is why his work is so epic and has been done. He's probably the most produced playwright in the world.
The most produced playwright to this day. Every year.
Wow.
But he uses really, seven major themes within his storytelling, and as humans, the human condition and human nature and how we interact with each other, those things really haven't evolved that much. We're still a species sort of going through life and loss and love and laughter, and I know I keep repeating those things, but
some things never change.
Some things never change, right? So his plays are the universality of his plays really speak to audiences over and over and over. So he doesn't really set them. He sets them in a place, but that place can be really malleable. So designers really love doing Shakespeare as well, because you can take it and put it in a time period and a place, and sometimes it really speaks to what's happening in the storyline, or it's just a way to anchor the play in something that the audience can feel like isn't very stodgy or something like that.
Relate to. Now, so that brings up another thought that I had. So just because we're watching a Shakespeare play, we can still go in our jeans and t-shirts and flip-flops to watch this. It's not a really classy.
No, we're not classy at all.
I don't have to drink my soda with my pinky out or. Okay.
No, absolutely not. No.
Comfortable, laid back. Okay.
Bring a picnic.
Okay.
I mean, the groundlings in Shakespeare's day, there were orange sellers and people going through the crowd selling wares, and it was kind of a rowdy event.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
That
It
would
was
be fun.
It,
I could see you
it's not all that
participating
formal,
in something like that.
Yeah, we're really, our aim, like Murphy's Creek Theater for 15 years at least, Graham can correct me if I'm wrong, but has been offering outdoor summer Shakespeare on grass with wine and food for a long time under the stars. So it's really, you know, people have a lot of options when it comes to their leisure dollars, and theater can often be a hard sell just to come to the theater, see a show. Graham and I work in theater, so we love it and we love listening to stories, but this is really, it's more than just coming to a play. It's really the whole experience. It's taking a night with the family, going out, being outdoors, under the stars, seeing other people you know in your community, sharing a glass of wine or a soda and having, you know, breaking bread, really.
Yes.
And then letting a story unfold to you in a beautiful setting, and hopefully
I had gone to do this in the past. I instead of feeling kind of intimidated, like I don't understand Shakespeare and I don't know.
Well, that's the reason that we open the house an hour and a half early, so you can come, you can have a picnic, you can hang out for a while, and then see a show. And
that's really neat.
yeah, it is. It's really informal, and I've actually had women come up to me and say, I could never get my husband into a theater, but he loved the show.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, anyone out there who's scared of Shakespeare or scared of the language or just assumes they don't like it because they had to do it in high school and it was just so daunting, or they've maybe seen some productions that it was just over their head, I really would encourage you to give us a try this summer, because we don't approach this just like any piece of sort of thick text work. We really honor the work that Shakespeare did, who was presenting a story to the masses.
Yes.
And this one's really fun, and it's really funny.
Shakespeare was a really funny guy. He really was.
He doesn't look at
body,
his pictures.
It's body and it's silly. And I have formal training in commedia, which is sort of clowning and sort of, you know, your Groucho Marx or your Three Stooges kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And the last couple of productions I've done for Murphy's Creek have really come into play of that comedic style. So Twelfth Night will have a lot of that as well.
That is so neat. And so again, the kids do the exact same play.
That's right.
During the day, I'm guessing, in afternoons?
The classes are 9 to 1 Monday through Friday, through the month of July, and then their performances will be in the evening on the 20th and 21st of July.
Okay.
So come see the show.
Yeah.
It's going to run June 13th through July 19th, and the performances vary Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, which is new for us. Fridays and Saturdays are at 7 o'clock. Sundays are at 5 o'clock. Again, the house opens an hour and a half before all three of those performances, but it'll vary each weekend. So some weekends it's Friday, Saturday, some it's Saturday, Sunday, some it's Friday, Sunday. So be sure to check our website.
All it's on the website,
absolutely.
and you'll probably be doing some print
Yes.
materials that we can find and post in our offices and things to make sure everybody goes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really learned a lot, and I am excited to come see Shakespeare and feel like I get it more than I did before. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on Tammy's Window on Calaveras.